Welcome to Blog It. My name is Juliette Dillon Clark, and I'm the CEO of Winsome Media Group. We are a company that helps authors self-publish, and we also coach authors and help them with the items that they need to do to make their books successful. In my coaching travels lately, most of my authors who've come to me are building or in the process of building their author platforms. And having a blog is such an important part of this that I thought I would do a mini course and help you get it set up and moving forward, and hopefully pointing you in the right direction to start building your blog.
So what is a blog? A blog is a type of website or a section of a website where the writer can communicate opinions, experiences, you can just do about anything on a blog that you want to write about. It also is accessorized with graphics and video, anything that will liven it up and direct the reader's eye to it on a regular basis. If you're first starting out, one of the questions that you're going to want to determine is, where do I blog? There are a variety of platforms out there, and you can incorporate many of these in with your website, which you should also have an author website. Some of the variety of platforms out there include Squarespace, WordPress, Movable Type, TypePad, and Blogger when it's attached to Google. Most of these, like I said, can be integrated right into your website. My personal preference is WordPress. It's very user-friendly, and once you learn how to use it, you are essentially using a WordPress website at the same time. So it all integrates in, it's smooth, and it's easy to learn. Before you write a single word on your blog, you're going to want to define your purpose. And there are two things to look at here. The first is the heart of your blog is your content. So what sort of content are you going to provide? And secondly, what is your blog going to look like? It's always important to keep in mind that your content is more important than how your blog looks, but making your blog look good, presenting everything in an organized manner certainly helps draw people in as well. So some key considerations that you're going to be looking at. Number one, who is your target audience? You want to write to a particular group of people. If you write to an audience that's so broad that no one will read, you're really not doing any good. So define in advance who your niche audience is. Let me give you an example of this real quick in case you don't understand. If you are going to write a gardening blog in general is a very broad category. If you narrow that down and you write specifically about organic vegetable gardening, that's your niche market. And you're more likely to bring people in with a particular subject matter than you are with a very broad subject matter. So the second consideration is, who is your competition for your audience's attention? And that means that you need to get on, if you're going to be writing on organic vegetable gardening, then Google that and find out who else is writing about organic vegetable gardening and what they're writing, and see if you have a little bit different take or a different spin on that. Number three, what goals are you trying to achieve? This is very important because the way you write will determine how people will be attracted to your blog. So are you writing it because you want to make money and sell affiliate products? Are you writing it because you have a book coming out or a series of books and you want to get people interested in advance? Are you writing it because you are a business coach and you want to upsell these people from your blog and your book and into products, different products, services that you have available on your website? So understand in advance exactly what you're trying to achieve. And then number 4, set metrics for measuring those goals that you've set. And that might mean that you look at the number of followers you're gathering every week. You look at the terms of engagement. Engagement on a blog is huge because when people are engaging and you're engaging back, you're building trust and they're getting to know you. When you set up your blog, be sure and set it on a reliable schedule. And your schedule is going to depend on how ambitious you are and how much you can comfortably write and create new content. A lot of people start out and they say, oh, I'm going to do this daily. And they get, 10 days into it and all of a sudden they've run out of content. So be sure that you pace yourself with it on a reasonable schedule and then be consistent with that schedule. If it's every Thursday, it's every other Wednesday, or even once a month, be sure you publish it when you say you're going to publish it. If you are blogging and gathering followers and you're doing all of this correctly, people are going to be looking for your blog and they're going to expect it on a particular day. So don't set undeliverable goals for yourself. Be very realistic about how often you can produce this.
Mix it up. Take your topics and give them the attention that each topic deserves. Don't write about the same thing over and over and over. You want to have a mixture of long articles and short articles. Probably lean more towards short articles because everyone out there has attention deficit these days. There's so much material being thrown at them. So the longer you make it, the less likely it is that they're going to read it through to the end. Make sure that all of your information is timely. You don't want to be behind the curve and disseminating information that is not up to date. You're going to have some serious posts. Hopefully you'll have a lot of humor in your post. It's so important to write the way you speak. And if you're someone who has a big personality, hopefully that will shine through. When you mix it up too, a great way to generate more traffic is to invite guest bloggers and backlink to them. It not only keeps you, saves you the trouble of having to come up with a blog every week or 2 weeks, but it brings another person's list into yours because whoever is following those people who follow the guest blogger are going to come in and get a taste of your blog as well since you're backlinked in.
And when you're putting a blog together, keep in mind that people are very visual. So move beyond just that written word. Make sure that you spice up your blog with images or videos, anything that will draw attention beyond just the written word. A little bit more about the size of your blog. There is so much chatter and information out on the internet. We are constantly bombarded by ads and, webinars and Facebook. There is just so much out there. So be very succinct about what you have to say. Again, 400 to 600 words should be sufficient. Keep the miniskirt theory in mind when you're writing. Good writing should be like a miniskirt, long enough to cover the subject, but short enough to keep it interesting. Start your blog with a crafty headline, something that's eye-catching. A lot of times when I do this, I use humor or I use something a little bit sarcastic so that, people look at it and go, what? The headline is the most important part of your post. It's what is going to grab people and bring them in to read it. So think about it before you give it a title and give it a catchy title. Using a graphic to make your headline stand out is always a good thing as well. If you look to the one down in the example here, build your business by maximizing the F word. Well, the F word, the first thing comes to mind is, well, you know what it is. In this particular case, it was failure. But it got me to read the article because I was looking at the graphics saying, oh my gosh, what? But I read it. So, this is the kind of thing you want to go out and grab someone's attention with. Design is important, even though it isn't the most important element, content is. You still want your design to reflect your unique style and personality. So if you don't have access or don't are not familiar with building your own custom graphics, I would recommend going over to fiverr.com, fiverr.com, or elance.com and finding someone that can make a custom template for you pretty inexpensively. I know over on Fiverr you can have one made for $5. So if you're not creative or you just don't get the graphics thing, hop on over to one of those sites and get something that you like. Keep in mind there's no right way to design, there's no wrong way to design. You are going to make the design what you want it. Whether you are designing your template yourself or outsourcing it to someone else, there are some design musts. You should have an RSS icon to clearly indicate a subscription tool. That everyone looks for that when they want to follow a blog. So make sure you have one of those. An option for someone to subscribe by email. You want this because especially if you are selling products or putting out a newsletter, something to update the people who are following you, you want to capture their emails. A clear way for someone to contact you as well. You definitely want one-on-one contact with people. So if they want to contact you and say, "Hello, I love your work," then you're building a fan. Have a way for them to let you know that they like your work. Put a search box on your site. You also need to have an archive of recent posts. I know when I go in and I see a post or someone that I really like their work, I browse through when I have time and look at their past work as well. You also want social networking sharing bling. Those are the little icons you see at the bottom that say Facebook, Pinterest, Google Plus, whatever social network you're on, you want to let people know that they can find you there as well. So that's it for the design musts. Any good designer should already know this, but if you're designing it yourself, make sure you get the information to get all of these on there. When you're setting up your blog, decide what it is, what action you want for your visitors to take. And to do that, you need to create momentum. Too many people out there believe that having their content on their site is enough, but you need to create momentum. You need to have a call to action, especially if you are selling products of some sort, books or products. If you have programs that you sell, if you have coaching models that you sell, you really want to be able to create action. And you're going to need a CTA, which is a call to action. A good CTA has 5 main elements. You need to make it clear what the offer is, make the CTA action oriented. That means download, register, opt in. Keep it above the fold, which means when people bring up your blog, make sure it's on the upper third so that your readers don't have to scroll down to see what's going on. Make sure it stands out, it's colorful, and make your headline match your landing page that's going with it. That's where you're leading people to. When you're asking people to respond to a CTA, you need to have it in 3 different places on your page to be effective. You want to have it below the headline, one to the right of the content over in a sidebar, and one below the post. That way people clearly have repetition and can see that they have options all the way down your article. Now, your ultimate goal here is comment moderation. Hopefully people are reading this and there is engagement. Now, I'll talk a little bit about really great engagement in a minute, but I want to address the negative part of this first. There are people out there who are spammers and trollers. Do not respond. It's really easy when they pick apart your article to just go, I'm going to roar back with a nasty comment as well. Don't do that. Just ignore them and move on. Moderation also is not editing, so please do not edit the comments that people make. You have the ability on the backside to do that. But even if you disagree, someone coming in and writing something that disagrees with your point of view can be a catalyst for more conversation. So just let it sit, maybe respond, get a little back and forth going. People respect that. They love it. I have to tell you, there was a post on Google Plus a couple weeks ago where an author wrote an article about how the world should get rid of self-published authors. Only traditional authors should be considered authorities. There were over 1,000 comments. That's engagement. Some of them were really nasty. Some of them were really great. The point was that there were a lot of people looking at it and taking that information and knowing who wrote that. That is excellent, excellent publicity for them.
You want people to be able to find your blog in other ways besides going to your website, because people may not know about your website. So you need to, when you're writing, be sure that you include your categories and your tags on your blog. That's one of the ways to improve and help people find you. So make sure you put those in. If you don't know what your tags are, go on to AdWords or something like that where you can look at keywords and see what people are looking at.
One of the big buzzwords out there that's been out there for a couple of years now is authentic. You want to be authentic. And it's actually comical how many people have no idea what being authentic means. When it comes to blogging, being authentic is all about writing the way you speak. Don't worry about, I have to be the perfect English major. That's not what writing is all about on a blog. You write the way you speak. Your grammar doesn't need to be pristine, but you do need to be accessible, friendly, and human. That's what people are really looking for, humanity. Don't overthink your blog. Blogging deviates from journalism in a lot of fundamental ways. Just to throw out a fun blogging fact here, the Huffington Post is a blog that transformed itself into a media empire. So keep that in mind, but know that that's not where you're going with this. Some things to remember. You do not need the Fox News entire balanced, fair and balanced story. You don't need to do that. You need to write what you know and then leave room for the opinions of others because you want engagement. So a recap of what you want to have on your blog step by step. Number 1, post your catchy title. Number 2, craft a first sentence that is your hook. It can be a question, it can just be something funny, whatever it is, it needs to be catchy. In your next paragraph, answer the question that you posed or whatever solves the hook that you put out there. Number 4, list your key points. You can do this either in paragraph form or in bullet form. Be sure and include an image or a video. You want something that's eye-catching for the viewer to see. And then close with a question. And you close with a question because you want the opinions of others and you want to draw in the engagement. Just a minute about do's and don'ts. You don't want to get on your blog and speak excessively about your company or your products. Your blog is not a place to hard sell. That's why I say keep it conversational, keep it light. Everything should fall into 3 categories with your blog. You should be a resource, provide information, and then hopefully make the lives of your readers a little bit easier or better by solving a pain point that they have. My authors that I coach always ask me, should I pimp my blog? Well, if it reflects the authenticness and uniqueness of your personality, add anything that makes you feel good and that you want to share with your niche. How do you get people to read your blog? That's a really great question. Probably the question that's as old as time. SEO is an art unto itself. There's no doubt about it. People use different ways to draw traffic into their site. I personally get a lot of tips and tricks from www.seobook.com. There's a wealth of information there. Most of it's free. One thing I can say about this subject is don't try to trick the search engines. There are some black hat tips out on the internet, and those are going to get you in trouble with the search engines. Believe me, you will get caught. Do everything that is above board that you need to do to get traffic the right way. A few tips that will help your SEO: use your title tags. We talked about them earlier. Keyword research. Go in and make sure that the tags and the words that you're using in your article are keywords that people are looking for. And then get links from other blogs. If you can trade links with other blogs, mentions, that's a great way to get traffic as well. Want to talk a little bit about blogging for dollars? I help people as a writing coach every single day. And one of the things that authors need the most but don't have is a blog. And as part of having a blog, many people out there are using it as a tool to generate income for their businesses in one way or the other. And it doesn't matter if you're a coach who's trying to bring people in for a coaching program, if you're an info product producer like I am, who tries to bring people in to purchase my products, or an affiliate marketer. There is a program out there called Learning to Blog. And it is a fantastic program. It was developed by Bradley Will and Matt Wolf. It was the program that I used when I began blogging. And not only does it teach you all the mechanics of blogging, but it teaches you how to target your audience via the back end of Facebook, which it has a whole tool that a lot of people do not know anything about. And it teaches you how to start generating an income from your blog immediately. I talked to Matt and Brad a couple weeks ago and told them, look, I'm referring all these people to you, and I'd really like them to have the program that I learned from you guys. And even though they no longer teach it, they have put it online. I have a special link at the bottom of this video that is just for that program. And I encourage every single one of you, if you want to up your blogging game, this is the place to go to find out how to do it. I'm always here for your writing needs. If you have writing questions, you can reach me at info@winsomemediagroup.com. And I thank you so much for taking the time to view this today.